Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm looking at the Washington Post article that goes over some House races the Democrats are eyeing in 2026 in hopes of expanding their map and pushing to get a Democratic majority. Now this is interesting because there are some very close House races in 2024 that narrowly went for both the Republicans and Democrats, but the Democrats are eyeing some very close ones that did go for the Republicans that they believe they'll have a shot at winning in 2026. So I'll be breaking down this article, then just looking closely at these House races. House Democrats launched a new effort Wednesday to recruit challengers for Republican districts in Arizona, Michigan, California, and Virginia that were not contested this year as a first step to taking back control of the House after falling just 3 seats short of doing so. Quote, the way we're looking at it is we have to start seeding the ground, recruiting the right candidates now, knowing that Democrats could shift the ground with Donald Trump in Republican control in Washington, said Mike Smith, president of the House Majority PAC, an independent group closely aligned with Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York. We are focused on expanding the map and recruiting candidates that have voted Republican but shifted towards Democrats in recent years. The list of new targets include Republican Representatives Bill Huizenga in Michigan's 4th District in the southwest part of the state, Rob Whitman in Virginia's 1st District in the Richmond suburbs, Elijah Crane in Arizona's 2nd District, which includes some Phoenix exurbs, and Kevin Kiley in California's 3rd District, which borders northern Sierra Nevada. The group will launch a 2026 recruitment fund to strong Democratic candidates for those seats and at least 25 others, including longtime Democratic targets such as New York seat held by Michael Lawler, the Arizona seat held by Juan Ciscomani, and Wisconsin seat held by Derek Van Orden, who all held off against well-funded challengers this year. A recent analysis by the Cook Political Report's Dave Wasserman found that Democrats won 17 of the closest 25 elections in November, still fell short of taking back control of the House, as Republicans nationwide won 2.7% more votes for Congress than Democrats. Wasserman's analysis found the House majority was decided by just 7,309 votes in 3 districts out of 148 million votes cast nationwide. Smith plans to stay on as head of the principal Democratic House group funding advertising in 2026, along with Abby Curran-Horrell, the group's executive director. The main Republican group, Congressional Leadership Fund, which pretty much does the same thing as the Democratic one, but on the Republican side, will have new leadership with Chris Winkleman as the top staffer at the National Republican Congressional Committee, taking over for Dan Constan, who has been president since the 2020 cycle. The House Majority's PAC spent more than $255 million in the 2024 cycle to win back the House, while Congressional Leadership Fund spent $242 million defending the Republican control. Both groups are staffed with strategists close to their respective congressional leaders and raise donations of unlimited amounts. Smith said the new fund will pay for an extensive effort to find attractive candidates across the country with an emphasis on people who may not be already in elected politics but have excelled in their chosen fields. Quote, we are putting money into it in January of the off year and not stopping until election year, Smith said. So this is a very, very fascinating situation, and one that if you're especially interested in election strategy, I think this is very, very fascinating. Because the Democrats obviously just lost the presidential election and Senate election and came very close, but were not able to win back the House of Representatives. And yet they're already putting to work efforts in 2026 to try and win back the House in an election that, based on historical trends, the midterm elections after one party does very well typically go for the other party 2 years later. So anything says that 2026 should be, on paper, a good Democratic year. And this House PAC and this situation is laying the groundwork for some potential targets. So first things first, before I get into the competitive races, I do just want to talk about some of the ones they briefly mentioned here. I'll start with the New York seat mentioned by Michael Lawler. I have the House map of 2024. Lawler represents this district right here, New York District 17. Lawler won recently by 6%, 52% to 46%. The Democratic candidate getting 46%. The third party candidate getting about 2%. Lawler won here by about 24,000 votes or so in New York 17. I also do have the Cook PVI list for the 2023-2024 district map. I want to make sure I have the right one. Yes, I do. This district, New York 17, is Democrat +3. So that's why I think the Democrats are targeting this race, especially if Lawler does retire from this district and runs for governor in 2026 of New York, something that has been rumored could potentially be happening. The Democrats see this district as D+3 as a potential flip opportunity. It'll be very close if Lawler does run again, but if Lawler does not run, Democrats may view this as a potential pickup opportunity. So that's this article, or that's this race, excuse me. Now Arizona, the seat held by Juan Ciscomani. This was a very close race as well. I remember watching this one down here in Arizona District 6. Ciscomani won 50% to 47%, about a win of 11,000 or so votes. So a very, very close race, and one that Arizona took a long time to count, as Arizona takes a lot longer than some other states to count its votes. It was a 3% win for Ciscomani in a district that, when you look at it, is Republican +3. So Ciscomani won about a Republican +3 district, pretty much in line with what the Cook PVI is. So certainly this is going to be a close race in 2026 as well. And the last race that it mentions before getting into the really competitive ones is the Wisconsin seat held by Derek Van Orden. Derek Van Orden, I believe, let's see, here it is, Wisconsin District 3. He won this race 51% to 49%, winning by about, I want to say a little bit under 11,100 votes, 11,200 votes. A very close race, only a 2% win in the western part of Wisconsin. This district is actually Republican +4, according to the Cook PVI. So Orden ranning about 2% less than that in the final margins. Certainly a reason to give Democrats optimism. But that's just the ones they mentioned there. Now we're going to look at the very, very close ones that they do go over explicitly that were not targeted as much. The first is Representative Bill Huizenga's seat in Michigan's 4th District. So this one I've actually not looked at yet, so I'll be learning right here with you. Michigan District 4, Huizenga won 55% to 43% to the Libertarian candidates, 2%. So this is a 12-point win for the Republican incumbent, and you would think on paper this doesn't look like it's going to be that competitive of a district. Looking at the Cook PVI for this district, though, it is only Republican +5. So yes, +5 would be right on the line between being a lean Republican and likely Republican rating, depending on what race you're looking at. In my own personal ratings, 5 points. I usually give the jurisdiction, if it's 5 exactly, into the lean category. If it's like 5.1, I'll rate it as likely Republican, but usually 5 exactly I do give as lean Republican, depending on the situation. In this situation, though, it is Republican +5, and yet the Republican just won here by about 12. So I'm interested to see the Democrats targeting this race. Maybe they think if they can get a stronger Democratic candidate, they can maybe contest this race, or if the Republican incumbent does not run again, maybe they know something we don't. That'll be something very interesting to watch. Before going forward, I also do want to mention our Republicans did win the 2024 House elections with just 220 seats, Democrats 215, with 218 needed for control. So a very, very close map where all the Democrats had to do to win was flip 3 seats to get the majority. So this is a very, very close election in terms of the House. Also, while I'm taking this moment, make sure if you have not yet done so to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you get more videos like this one that I'll be doing every single day going forward. So that was that district in Michigan, Michigan 4. Now we're going to look at Rob Whitman's district in Virginia's 1st district of the Richmond suburbs. So the Richmond suburbs, Rob Whitman, I believe, yes it is right here, District 1. Rob Whitman won here 56% to 44%, a 12% win, and about a 61,000 vote raw numbers win for Rob Whitman over his Democratic challenger, Leslie Mehta. This is an interesting one because this one is a 12-point win as well. So both of these that we've looked at so far have been big Republican wins. Now let's take a look at the Cook PVI for this district. It's about Republican +6. So both of these districts showed so far, Virginia 1 and Michigan 4, the Republican doubling the Cook PVI of the district. I wonder if the Democrats are thinking if they can get a good candidate in 2026, not even that they may be able to win these districts, but they may be able to do good enough where the Republicans in Washington have to invest a lot of money into defending these races, which puts people like Mike Lawler, who is in a Democrat-favored district, potentially in a bigger defensive position, and they won't have as much money to spend. I wonder if that is the strategy there. But Whitman did win District 1 by about 12 points. That's interesting. Now we look at Elijah Crane, whose district is Arizona's 2nd district, which does include parts of Phoenix and the Phoenix exurbs. So now let's take a look over here in Arizona. Eli Crane won this one 54% to 46%, a win of about 8 percentage points. This was him. He ran for a second term. I believe he got elected back in 2022. And he won here by about, let's see, 16,000 votes, so 200 plus 21. That would be about 47,000 votes or so. I definitely did that math wrong. No, about 41,000 votes, I think. 16,000. Oh, what's 16 plus 21? Come on, I can do this. 41 would be 20 minus 5. Okay, so about 36,000 vote win for Eli Crane over his Democratic opponent. I'm honestly very sad how long it took me to do that math. But about an 8% win, 36,000 vote win for Eli Crane over his Democratic opponent. Let's look at the Cook PVI for this one. This one is Republican plus 6. The thought process here is, like many we talked about in Arizona, Maricopa County is growing very, very quickly. This is where the city of Phoenix is and Scottsdale. This area around here is growing very quickly, and part of Crane's district is part of Phoenix and the exurbs around Phoenix. If the Democrats continue to grow their numbers in Arizona, maybe the thought process is here, they may be able to take a run at this district where it is only a 6-point win, whereas you look at the other ones where in the 2024 elections, it was a 12-point win, and it was a 12-point win. This one was only a 6-point win. So the Democrats may view this race as more vulnerable, given it was a closer election in 2024. If they can recruit a stronger Democratic candidate, maybe they feel they have a shot in a Democratic midterm year, potentially being able to flip this seat. This is the first race I see, Arizona 2nd District, where I could actually see this being a potential flip. I don't think Michigan's 4 or Virginia 1st are that realistic to being potential flips. On a great night for Democrats, I could see Arizona 2 potentially being a flip. I'm not saying it will be. I'm not even saying I would predict that to happen right now. But I'm saying if the Democrats did have an amazing night, I wouldn't be surprised to see Arizona 2 being very, very close. Lastly, the last one that's mentioned is Kevin Kiley's California District 3 in the northern Sierra Nevada. That is the last race the article mentioned, so let's check that one out. California 3 right here. Kevin Kiley won by 10 points, 55% to 45% against Democratic candidate Jessica Morse. And about 12,000 votes to 200, 34 plus 12, that would be about 46,000 vote win for Kevin Kiley over the Democratic candidate. I did the math much quicker this time around in my head. So this is a very, very fascinating one in that 46,000 votes, 10%, very big. The Cook PVI on this one is about Republican plus 4. This is another situation where the Republican incumbent is doing much better than what the Cook PVI of this district is. Maybe if the Democrats feel a better candidate, or if the Republican incumbent does not run for re-election, maybe this could be a situation where in a Democratic midterm year, the Democrats are feeling very confident and that R plus 4 lean for the district is not enough to be like to stop the Democrats from overcoming that majority. That certainly could be possible. I think the simple fact is all the races they've mentioned, I think is the reason why they're targeting them now, is because I think the Democratic candidates and party, if they're being very smart and very tactical here, they want to find out how just competitive are these races really. Because Virginia 1 was a 12-point win, Michigan 4 was a 12-point win, Arizona 2 was a 6-point win, and California 3 was a 55-45 10-point win. I think the Democrats will probably concede that these races probably won't go for the Democrats in 2026, but they're looking at making these races competitive. And there may be a little bit of an underlying goal here where even the Democrats may not even have to win these races in 2026, but I think they need to make them competitive because that'll force the Republicans to spend money on these races and to be on the defense. Where the Republicans right now have 220 seats, Democrats have 215. The Republicans do not have a large enough majority in the U.S. House in 2026 to really play defense and expect to win. For the Republicans to have a realistic shot at winning in 2026, in my opinion, they're going to have to go on the offense. They're going to have to target districts that the Democrats narrowly flipped, such as Oregon's District 5, California District 13, California 27, California 45, and some other districts that did vote Democrat that were very close, like Maine District 2. These are areas Republicans are going to have to attack to try and win the House in 2026, because there were some very close races across the country that Republicans did narrowly hold on to, like Mike Lawler's race in New York. This one, if he's not running, could easily flip to the Democrats. Then the Democrats only need to win 2 more races to win the House. Iowa's District 1. This ended up being a win by about 800 votes for the Republican incumbent. This race is capable of flipping in 2026, as well as the rest of the state of Iowa. District 3 was very close. So there's a lot of pickup opportunities, including some Republican seats that did flip, like District 8 in Colorado. There's no saying this race doesn't flip in 2026, or District 7 in Michigan, or District 8 and District 7 in Pennsylvania. 2026 has the potential to be a very good year for the Democrats if the Republicans are not able to do well in the House. That could set the Republicans back in the House for potentially at least 2 to 3 elections. Let's not forget the Republicans held the House control for a very long time until they lost it, and I believe it was in 2018. And then the Democrats have held it since about 2022, a 4-year span. There's no guarantee Republicans don't lose the House in 2026, just given how close it is. And to see an article like this where the Democrats are targeting races like Virginia 1, like Michigan 4, like Arizona 2, and like California 3, that could be a sign of not only do the Democrats think they're going to win the House in 2026, but they want to really have a big majority in the House in 2026. So I'm not sure if this is all going to come to fruition, especially in these races that are in at least double-digit Republican wins in 3 out of the 4. But it's a very interesting and bold strategy this Democratic aligned pack is taking, and it's something that I'm certainly monitoring closely because there could be a bigger story here in terms of what the strategy is for the Democrats in their 2026 House election plan. Certainly, it's very, very fascinating, and if you're interested in elections and what strategies are for House elections like this, which, let's be honest, House races kind of go under the radar a little bit compared to the presidential races, Senate races, even at times governor's races. This is a very, very interesting thing this Democratic group is getting at. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like. And if you really liked it, please remember to click the subscribe button and make sure you turn post notifications on so you always get notified when I post a new video. That way you never miss one. Also, please remember to share this video with your friends and family if you really, really, really like the video. And remember to stay tuned because I'll be posting at least one video every single day leading up until Election Day, so I'd really appreciate it if you keep coming back and watching those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.